Hello, and we're going to start talking about language and what that means and how we develop language. This is just a brief little overview as to how language works. You can see there the definition of language is that it's our spoken, written, or gestured work. It's the way we communicate meaning to ourselves and others. Make sure, essentially, that you don't confuse the difference between language and communication. All right, communication can take on a number of different forms. Language, however, has certain rules that have to be followed in order to um, be considered a language, and we're going to go over those shortly. Um, many different species, not many, all different species have some form of communication, but as far as language is concerned, human beings are the only living being, as far as we know, that is wired to acquire, transmit, share, and teach each other language and pass on information through a strict set of rules, such as a language. All right, and those four rules are as follows. The four basic principles: you have phonemes, those are the smallest units of sound. So, what does that mean? Like the letter S. All right, if you were to draw the letter S, that really it's just a symbol for us to make the S sound with our mouths. It really doesn't mean anything. The only meaning it has is that we who understand and know the English language know to make this sound when we see it. And so that's the basic phoneme. It's the smallest unit of sound. Now, don't get that confused. Once again, SH, if you put SH there, that's still a phoneme, even though it's two different letters. It's the most basic unit of sound. We just know to make the sh sound with our mouths when we see that. And so even though it's two letters, it's still a phoneme because it's the smallest unit of sound. All right. You have morphemes, then that are the smallest unit of meaning when you combine things together. So those essentially are words. So you're combining different phonemes to create morphemes that actually mean something. So if I combine the sh phoneme with, an O and a T, now I know that means shot, and I understand what shot means. There's many different meanings for shot, obviously, but the point is that you're combining phonemes, you're combining smaller units of sound into things that now create meaning. Okay, so the phonemes are just the smallest sounds, morphemes are the meaning. All right, the third principle is syntax. That's grammar rules. Every language has their own set of grammar rules. Some put the subject before the verb, some put the verb before the subject, and all that good stuff that you learn in English class. But essentially, in order for there to actually be a language, there has to be some sort of rule that controls grammar. And so, like I said, there's many different things in many different languages, and you learned all the different grammar rules in English class. I don't need to go over those, but in order for it to be considered a language, there must be grammar rules. And then, last but not least, is semantics. That means when we're putting words and sentences together, I have to be able to understand you, and you have to be able to understand me. And that's the whole basics of semantics. So we put these phonemes and morphemes together through a set of grammar rules in order for it to mean something. So the fact that you can understand what I'm saying right now means you understand the English language, and that is the semantics, the meanings of the words and the sentences together. So those are the four basic principles of language.